This is the student orientation for Life on Earth. Please print out the syllabus before continuing. As you go through this orientation, there are going to be several occasions that I refer you to specific pages in the syllabus. Hello and welcome to Life on Earth. My name is Bernice Spear and I will be your instructor for the semester. If you look on the first page of the syllabus, you will find my contact information. This includes office hours, where my office is located, my phone number, and my ACC email. You can also email me through Blackboard using the Send Email tool and selecting for Instructor. Please feel free to contact me at any time during the semester, especially if you have questions or encounter problems. I have taught in the biology department at ACC for many years. My graduate degree is in zoology from Brigham Young University. I trained originally in population ecology, but I have since taken other graduate courses online from the University of Nebraska at Kearney. These graduate courses included anatomy, physiology, histology, evolutionary biology, biology of sex, field biology, and other courses that I was interested in. I am passionate about scuba diving and snorkeling and hiking and other activities that get me outdoors. I am also quite passionate about cats and ferrets, and you have to love them. They're always happy, they're always joyous. When they're awake, they're getting into trouble, and when they crash beautifully, as you can see from the right-hand picture. My little Miss Ebony was so tired she couldn't even pull herself into bed that night. I will try my best not to bore you with numerous ferret stories over the semester. Life on Earth is based on a book written by Carl Zimmer called The Tangled Bank. This edition of the book is an ACC custom edition that combines parts of the first and second edition. There is a study guide written by ACC faculty that will direct you through the course materials. This includes scientific concepts you will need for the class. It also includes which specific parts of the book you need to read and other activities that you need to do. The reading is supplemented by online videos and activities so that you will have a chance to see some of the things that are discussed in the book and study guide. Let's go through the syllabus together. I am going to encourage you to read the syllabus carefully. The syllabus is a contract between the instructor and the student that lays out all of the course policies and procedures, tells you what you need to do in order to successfully complete the course, and also includes the college policies that you will need to know. We're only going to cover the highlights of the syllabus in this orientation, not every policy covered in the syllabus. Keep the syllabus as your reference for the semester. The course is called Life on Earth because we are going to look at what types of life forms are on this planet and how did they get here. Among other things, you'll learn the fascinating history of how these different groups of organisms evolved since Earth formed about 4.5 billion years ago. The course focuses on evolution and its mechanisms, which are the processes that have produced the staggering diversity of organisms that have lived on planet Earth. You will also learn about how science works to reveal this history of life on Earth. This is an online section of Life on Earth. The course requires you to regularly use a computer, whether you are using one at home or using one at an ACC campus. This course is taught by distance learning. Distance learning means that students do not attend traditional lectures at a specific campus location. These classes are designed to be taught with the use of reading assignments, videos, web-based activities, or through the use of group discussions. Distance learning does not mean that you are taking a class without deadlines. Distance learning does not mean that the course is self-paced. You will have regular deadlines for exams and other assignments, and you are expected to move through the course at a steady pace. You are also expected to regularly participate in online group discussions every week. I'm a big fan of distance learning because it provides an alternate way for students to take classes, especially in situations where they cannot come to a campus or they don't learn well in that particular type of environment. However, the typical distance learning student spends more time studying than a traditional student, and there's a very large time commitment for a distance learning class. The distance learning student has to work more independently to learn the material. You have to be very organized to keep track of deadlines. This is a great way to learn if you're self-motivated, but it does take more time and more self-discipline. Time management is crucial for your success in the class. I have taken now 10 different distance learning graduate science classes, and each class took me 2 to 3 times longer than it would have if I had been going to traditional classes on campus. If you are new to distance learning, or if this is your first science class you have taken through distance learning, you might turn to this page in the syllabus and go through the section called "Is Distance Learning the Right Format for You or Not?" There is a learning style survey at ACC that you can take to help you decide whether your learning style matches up with distance learning. There's a technical skills checklist to see if you have the technical skills needed for an online course. And remember, the tutors at the ACC Learning Labs can help you with technical skills. If you haven't taken a VARC questionnaire to help you figure out the best way for you to study, I highly recommend it. This identifies whether you learn through visual cues, auditory cues, reading and writing, or whether you learn best from hands-on kinesthetic learning. Once you know your learning styles, there are techniques that you can use to help you learn with those particular skills. On this page of the syllabus, you will find a description of the course format. The course is divided into 5 units, and each unit should be completed in order. There is a study guide that is the core of this class. It will guide you through the concepts, it will tell you which parts of the textbook to read, and guide you through the online videos and activities. You will have a homework assignment for every unit. You will also have discussion groups to talk about topics that I have posted that relate to the unit's material. You can also use the discussion groups as a study group to help you answer questions from the study guide that you might be struggling with. I'll talk more about discussion groups in a few minutes. As explained on page 3 of the syllabus, you will need this edition of the Biology 1309 Life on Earth Study Guide, and I will talk more about that on the next slide. Also, you will need to purchase a copy of the ACC Special Edition of the Tangled Bank by Carl Zimmer, and again, that will be discussed on the very next slide. You'll need to watch episode 1 of Life of Mammals, and then there will be discussion group topics and homework assignments that are posted on Blackboard. As explained on page 3 of the syllabus, you will need this edition of the Biology 1309 study guide, and it will be available on the Blackboard site for this class. Please make sure you use the edition that is on the Blackboard site because it is a special edition that has been modified specifically for us. You will also need a copy of the Tangled Bank by Carl Zimmer, the ACC Custom Edition. This is available only at the ACC bookstores. It is not available anywhere else. Just to be clear, your book should look like the picture that's on the left, not either one of the two books that are shown on the right-hand side of the slide. You will also need to watch episode 1 of The Life of Mammals by David Attenborough, and this is available through the ACC libraries. You can go to the ACC Library Services and search for Life of Mammals in the catalog and scroll through the options until you find a winning design that has the format film. When you click on View Now, it will connect you to Canopy with your ACC EID. You will have to sign up for the service the first time you use it, but it is free to all ACC students. There are also DVDs on reserve at these locations in the library, so if you prefer to go to the library and watch a DVD, you have that option as well. You will need to watch sections of this video twice, once in Study Guide Section 7 and again when you get to Section 12. Information about the ACC EID can be found on this page of the syllabus. You will need your ACC EID in order to use Blackboard and ACC's online services. You have to use Blackboard to access class materials, submit assignments, and take exams. Follow these instructions if you don't have your ACC EID. If you need more help, you can contact the ACC Help Desk. As an ACC student, you are expected to regularly check your ACC email. As an instructor, I can only respond to emails that you have sent to me from your ACC email account, and I can only send information about the course to you through the ACC email address. College policy says that if I send out any type of notice through the ACC email, then it is considered to be an official notice from the college. For this reason, you need to check your ACC email on a regular basis. You will be using Blackboard extensively in this class. Blackboard will be used to access the course materials. You will be participating every week in online small discussion groups. You will get your homework from Blackboard. You must take your exams in the ACC Testing Center using Blackboard. Blackboard is also used to post your grades. I send out announcements on Blackboards, and I send out emails to the whole class using Blackboard. There are some technology requirements, and there are also some regularly encountered problems with technology. One of the major problems that students report is they can't watch a video, particularly on the PBS sites, and it is usually because your computer is blocking pop-ups. Some websites will work only with Windows Explorer as your browser, so if you're using Firefox, you can't get them to open. So if you can't get a website to open, try a different browser. It is very important that you read page IV in the study guide, which goes over the technology issues that you will need to know about in order to view the various videos and activities that are online. In particular, that section viewing the videos is very important because there is software that you are going to have to download, and if you do not want to download the free software, then you are going to need to use a different computer that has the software available to it. This page in the syllabus goes over the grading scheme for the class. There are weekly online discussion groups. There are homework assignments, one homework assignment for each unit, and there are exams over each unit. And this shows you the total possible number of points for the class. The grading scale is a standard grading scale. I do not curve your grades, and I do not have extra credit projects that are not available to all students. There are extra credit questions that are added to the exams, and I'll talk more about this in the PowerPoint. Please read the section about borderline grades and what I look at the end of the semester if you do have a borderline grades. If your grade is borderline, I will take in consideration whether you tried to take the optional final and whether you participated in the weekly online discussion groups or not. You will find information about the online discussion groups on these pages in the syllabus, and I will assign you to a group starting the first week of class. There will be 14 weeks of online group discussions. Each week is worth 5 points a week, so for the semester this is 70 points, and you are graded on your participation in your group discussions. You will find information about the discussion groups on these pages of the syllabus. The group discussions begin the first week of class. And the first thing to do is find your discussion group in Blackboard. If you go into Blackboard, you will see a folder labeled discussion groups. If you click on the discussion groups folder, only your group will be highlighted. That's the only one that you're going to be able to click on. When you click on that, under Group Tools, find Group Discussion Boards, and then click on Week 1 Discussion Topics. And the following slides have snapshots of what the screens will look like. On the left-hand side of the screen, you will see the button labeled Discussion Board, and that's the button to click on. This is what you will see after you click on the discussion board button, and in this particular example I am a member of group 1, so that's going to be the only group that I will be able to open. Now that I'm in group 1, I would go to the link for group discussion boards located under Group Tools. Now once I'm in the discussion board, I should be able to see the link for Week 1 discussion topics, and at the beginning of the semester this will become visible to you. You're going to click on Week 1 discussion topics and go into that area called a forum, and that's where you're going to start making your post. And every week of the semester a new discussion topics area will open up. And finally, once you're into the forum, in this case Week 1 discussion topics, there's a place that says create a thread. If you are the first person that week, you would click on this, and you might create a thread that says Topic 1, Introduction, or Topic 2, and a brief description of Topic 2. If someone has already started a thread on, say, Topic 1, you can click on that thread, and then you will be able to post a response to the threads, or to the comments that are already there. You will only need to create a thread if there's not one already created on a topic that you want to discuss. And I'm going to encourage your group to be pretty systematic about this. You really want everything for Topic 1 to go in one thread, everything for Topic 2 to go into a separate thread, everything for Topic 3 to go into a third thread. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to follow the conversation. This is a good example of how to make threads. This is from a different semester, and I have removed the names of the students, but you can see that there's one thread for discussion 3, one thread for discussion 2, one thread for discussion 1, and all of the students made their post for, say, discussion 3 in that one area. So this is an example that's not quite as good. You'll notice that there are 4 different threads that are on the same topic, which is introduction. And you, as a student, would need to go in and read all 4 of those threads. That's how to post and where to post. The next question is, where do you find the specific topics you are supposed to answer? The topics for your group's discussion will be found in the Unit Course Content folder. You will find the unit folders inside of the course content folder that is currently highlighted on the left. Click on that button to open that section of Blackboard to find the unit content folders. Once you open up course content, you should see a page that looks like this. Go into Unit 1 Course Content and click on that folder. When you open the Unit 1 Course Content folder, this should be the first thing that you see. And this is going to basically give you an overview of what we are covering in Unit 1, a learning guide, and a set of learning objectives. To find the discussion topics, you are going to need to scroll down so you can see the bottom of this page. Once you scroll down the page, you should see the rest of the material for Unit 1, and look towards the bottom and you will see the folder for the discussion topics. This is going to tell you which weeks are located in Unit 1, and you're going to click on that folder to open it. Once you click on the discussion topics folder, you should be able to see the Week 1 discussion topics, and there is a PDF file and a Word file for you to use. These will contain the instructions for posting to your discussion group and the questions that you should be answering for the week. You should be able to see Week 1 discussion topics on the first day of the semester. Every week, the discussion topics for the week will appear in the discussion topics folder, usually on Monday morning. You will be able to post anytime from Monday through Sunday of that week. The deadline is 11:59 p.m. on Sunday for that particular week. So on week 2, when you go back into the folder for discussion topics, it should look like this. The guidelines for posting are found on these pages of the syllabus. You need to post at least 2 times on different days in order to earn full credit. For example, you might post once on Wednesday and then post again on Friday. The minimum number of posts per week is 2. At least one of your posts must be a reply or response to another group member. This post should be meaningful and contain content. You do not want to post something like, "I agree," without including more information. In other words, you need to add something new to the conversation. You might say something like, "I thought the answer to this question should be this," and then explain why. Or you might have found a video or website that helped you understand the material and you want to share that with your group. I do encourage you to respond to your group members and get to know them. Treat your group members as part of your study group. This will allow you to check your answers for correctness. It will also allow me to see your answers and the answers of your group members so I can make corrections or adjustments if needed. Please remember that posting is a group activity. Remember not to post the answers to every question. This is particularly important if you are posting at the beginning of the week. Be sure to leave room for your other group members to be able to respond. So start a conversation or join into a conversation that someone else has already started. By the end of the week, your group needs to answer all questions, but you personally don't have to post every answer. If the question has multiple parts to it, it is perfectly okay for you to post the answers to just 1 or 2 parts. In this example from week 1 discussion topics, question 3 has 3 parts, question 4 has 5 parts to it. You might, for example, post the answer to 3A and then make another post that answers 4B. In addition to the answer, you can include a brief explanation of why you think this is the correct answer, and that helps to make your post more meaningful. Again, the minimum number of posts per week is 2, but please feel free to post more often. The discussion topics are usually material from the study guide. They also include scenarios, so you can practice answering questions about new material, and that helps you demonstrate that you can apply the material that you've learned from the unit to a new situation. I'm going to encourage your group to be organized. The first person to post on a particular topic will start a thread. I recommend you label the thread something like Topic 1 or Topic 1 Introductions. Once that thread has started, then other people can click on the thread and respond to posts that have been made by other group members or add new material. If you are not careful, and if your group is not careful, you will have 12 different threads labeled topic number 1, and at that point it becomes very difficult to follow a conversation. The goal is to have all of the material on a specific topic in one place so that you can work your way through the material and follow the train of thought. For each unit there is a homework assignment. Each homework assignment is worth 15 points. You will find the homework under the Unit Course Content folder posted in Blackboard. You will find both a Word file and an Adobe file. You will find information about your homework on these pages in the syllabus. You will submit your homework for grading through Blackboard. There will be a paper-based set of instructions that explains what you need to do for the homework. This will include any websites that you need to go visit or any section of the textbook that you need to read, and the questions that you need to answer. After working through the paper-based set of instructions, you will use your answers to fill in the Blackboard-based homework. And after you finish the Blackboard-based homework, you will submit your homework through Blackboard. You are not going to turn in the paper-based set of instructions. If you do that, you will not earn any credit for that. Your homework will have to be submitted through Blackboard. Now, there is a deadline for turning in the homework for each unit. Late homework is not accepted. So please be sure that you do your homework by the deadline. To get to the homework, start by clicking on the Course Content button on the main page. Once you open up Course Content, you should see a page that looks like this. Go into Unit 1, Course Content, and click on that folder. Once you've opened up the Unit 1 Course Content folder, scroll down to the bottom and locate the Homework folder. Then click on that folder. Once you've clicked on the Homework folder, you should see first the paper-based instructions for homework number 1. These instructions are available either as a PDF file or a Word file. And these instructions will contain all of the things that you need to do in order to prepare to answer the graded portion of homework number 1. When you have gone through all of the material and you are finished with the print-based version of the homework, then you will go to the Blackboard-based homework assignment number 1 to enter your answers. And this should be the last file in the homework page. Click on that link and you should open up the homework. When you click on homework number 1, you will see the instructions. As you can see, you can save your answers to the homework and come back to finish it at a different time. If you decide to do that, you must be very careful to save your answers, not submit your answers. You can only submit your homework one time. So if you look at the next couple of slides, I'll show you specifically what to do, but essentially you can save your answers and either use the back button on your browser or click on one of the other folders to exit the homework. As long as you don't hit submit, you should be able to go back and work on your homework until the deadline. Once you start the homework, you should see a page like this. It will show you the questions that were asked on your instruction sheets, and you will select the answer. Notice the Save All Answers at the bottom of the screen. If you are not going to complete this at one time, when you get to a stopping point, hit that button that says Save All Answers. Then you should be able to use either the back button on your browser or just go and click on one of the other folders. It will exit the exam. It will ask you if you want to leave, just say yes, and then you should be able to go back into the homework at a later date and complete it. And you can do that up until the deadline for the homework. The other button at the bottom of the page is Save and Submit, and you can only click on that one time. As soon as you submit your homework is complete and you cannot revise your answers or make any changes. Your homework will be graded and your grade is whatever it is at that particular point. If you want to do your homework in one setting, then that's the button that you want to hit. Otherwise, you're going to save your answers until you are finished with the homework. Once you're finished, you're going to hit that Save and Submit button, and at that point in time, your homework is complete. After you have submitted your homework in Blackboard, Blackboard will grade it immediately. You will be able to review the homework right after you submit it. This will allow you to see the questions with your submitted answers and the correct answers. After that, if you want to review the homework, you can go into My Grades. The homework should be highlighted in blue. Click on the blue homework name and then click on the grade. The grade should also be highlighted in blue. This should allow you to see the homework questions, your submitted answers, and the correct answers. Please make sure that you check your answers on the homework. You do not want to miss a similar question on the unit exam. You will find information about the exams on these pages of the syllabus. There are 5 required exams in the course, and the exams are a mixture of multiple choice questions and some written short answer questions. Please see the tables on these particular pages in the syllabus that discuss the material that's going to be covered on each exam, the format of the questions, and also the mandatory deadline. There are mandatory deadlines for each exam, so be sure you pay careful attention to those deadlines. The test material for the unit will include any material in the study guide, required readings from the textbooks, any online video or other online activities that were mentioned in the study guide. It will also include the material covered on your homework and on the weekly discussion topics for that unit. Part of the general information about exams discusses Bloom's taxonomy. You can find a handout on Bloom's taxonomy posted on Blackboard in the syllabus folder. Print that out and look at it, and you'll see that Bloom's taxonomy is a model of mental thinking skills that have been put into categories. And higher level thinking questions are categories 2 through 6. In this non-majors class, I write exam questions at levels 1 through 4. Many students think that they're going to be just tested on memorization, and they're often taken by surprise when they have application questions or scenario questions. If you also look under Bloom's taxonomy in the syllabus folder, you'll find a specific example of how I can write test questions about specific material at different levels. As you go through the weekly discussion topics and also through the homework, you are going to see that some of these questions are written at levels 2, 3, and 4. This gives you a chance to see what higher level thinking questions are going to look like, and it also gives you a chance to practice the skills of answering these higher level thinking questions. Some of these types of questions might be, for example, compare two groups of organisms, or discuss the advantages and disadvantages of some characteristics, or they may be a scenario-based question like you will find in the homeworks. As discussed on this page of the syllabus, there is an optional comprehensive final that will be given at the end of the semester. The final is comprehensive and it does cover the material for the entire semester. It will be entirely objective multiple choice questions. Your grade on the optional final can only bring your grade up. It cannot lower your overall course grade. The grade on the final will be used to replace your lowest grade as long as your lowest grade is not a 0. If you do not take an exam, you cannot use the final to replace that 0 grade. There are 2 ways to earn extra credit in this class. The first option is completing a set of practice questions that will be found in each unit folder. Please note that there are 2 sets of practice questions in Unit 5. There are instructions for completing the practice questions, and then there is a Blackboard base quiz, essentially, that you complete. Each set of practice questions is worth up to 3 points of extra credit. If you do all 6, that is worth up to a total of 18 possible extra credit points for the practice questions. The second option is answering an extra question on the exam. When you take exams 1 through 5 in Part B, there will be one written short answer extra credit question that you can decide whether you want to answer or not, and it is worth up to 2 points of extra credit. On the final, which is entirely multiple choice, there are 3 extra credit questions that are part of the exam. Each one of those is worth 2 points each, for a total of 6 on the optional final. So between the 2 options, you can earn up to between 28 and 32 points of possible extra credit points. To find the practice questions, you are once again going to start on the main page and click on Course Content. Once you open up Course Content, you should see a page that looks like this. Go into Unit 1, Course Content, and click on that folder. When you go into the Unit folder, the last folder should say Practice Questions for Unit 1 and Extra Credit. Click on that folder. When you go into the folder, the first thing that you will see are the paper-based set of instructions and questions for the practice questions. You want to print out one of these files and then follow the instructions in them and collect all of the answers before you go to actually enter them into the Blackboard-based part of the extra credit. When you have completed the paper-based assignment, then click on this link to open up the Blackboard graded part of the extra credit assignment. Once you click on the link, you should see a page like this, and this is going to be very similar to the homework. You can go into the practice questions and save your answers if you want to come back and complete it at a later date. As soon as you hit submit, however, your practice questions have been submitted and you will not be able to revise them. So if you decide to save your answers, click Save Your Answers and then use your back button on the browser, or click on one of the other folders in Blackboard to exit the practice questions. Otherwise, if you're finished, then hit the Submit button and that will submit the extra credit practice questions for you. Turn to this page in the syllabus and let's talk more about taking exams in the testing center. The exams are computer-based exams that you will take using Blackboard. You will take them in any of the ACC testing centers. You will be able to use scratch paper, but only the materials that are submitted online will be graded. Each computer-based exam will have questions that are taken from question pools that I have created. So each exam is randomly generated and each student will have a slightly different group of questions from the question pools. Each unit exam will have 2 sections. Part A has multiple choice questions. Part B has written short answer questions and extra credit questions. If you look at the table on this page in the syllabus, you will see the specific format for each exam. It does not matter if you take Part A or Part B first. That's really up to you. Part A contains the multiple choice objective questions, and as soon as you submit the exam, you will receive your score. You'll be in Blackboard. Go to the folder called My Exams, and your grade should be highlighted for Part A that you just took. If you click on the blue highlighted number, it will take you to another screen. Click on that, and then it will take you through so you can see each question, what you answered, and what I have as the correct answer. The only time that you can see your answers and the correct answers will be when you're there in the testing center, so be sure to look at that, particularly if you've got questions. The score on Part A automatically goes to the grade book in Blackboard. Now, Part B is the written part of the exam, and after you submit Part B, I will receive an electronic copy of your answers to grade, and once I grade those, your score in Part B will be posted to the gradebook in Blackboard. I do my best to grade them as quickly as I can. I do grade on a first in, first out basis, and I try to post your grades for Part B within 2 days after you take the exam. Your exam grade is the sum of the score that you make on Part A added to the score that you make on Part B. So using this example, if you had made a 78 on Part A and a 12 on Part B, your exam grade would be 90 points. You will find information about special testing on this page of the syllabus. This includes students with disabilities that have an accommodation letter requiring them to take their exams in a SAS office, or students who have made arrangements for testing at alternative sites through the distance testing program. The easiest way to figure out what is going to be on each exam is to look on this page of the syllabus and locate the table called What's on the Exams. And this will explain what you will be tested on for each one of the exams throughout the semester. This page of the syllabus has the deadlines and important dates for you. This is going to include the deadlines for the mandatory orientation, the discussion groups, the homework deadlines, and other important dates, which include the dates for withdrawals, the days for holidays, and any day that ACC is scheduled to be closed. If you look on this page of the syllabus, you will see a short table that shows you what each exam covers. And the following page is probably one of the most important pages in the entire syllabus. This page gives you detailed information about what each exam covers, the format of the exam, and the mandatory exam deadlines. I really strongly suggest that you print this page out and keep it where you can easily refer to it throughout the semester. That will keep you from studying the wrong material and then going in to take a test over it. Please notice that the table has details about the material that's covered on each exam, which sections in the study guide are going to be covered, which homeworks, which discussion topics. It has information about the exam format, and it also has information about the mandatory exam deadline. Notice on your unit exams there is an automatic 24-hour grace period, and the grace period is exactly that. It is an automatic extension of the exam deadline. You do not have to ask for it. It is automatically granted to every student, but please keep in mind that it is a grace period. It is not going to be extended for any reason. If you intend to go in and take your exam on the grace period and something happens, you're not going to get an extension on the grace period. Also, please keep in mind that there is no grace period on the final, so you will have to take the final by the date stated on that table. I'm going to urge you to always go back and check the table on this page before you take an exam. The most common mistake made by students on exams is studying the wrong material, going in to take the exam, and then realizing as they're taking the exam that it covers totally different material than they thought it was going to cover. You can avoid that problem by just double checking that table before you take the exam, because after you've taken the exam there's no way to really fix that problem. This part of the syllabus summarizes what happens if you miss a deadline, the consequences of missing a deadline. This includes missing the orientation deadline, missing the discussion group deadlines, missing any other deadlines that are in the class. Information about withdrawals will be found on these pages of the syllabus. This information includes the last day to withdraw without earning a grade of W, and the last day to withdraw for the semester with a grade of W. You will find the policy on instructor-initiated withdrawals on this page of the syllabus. Please note that I do withdraw students who do not complete their orientation by the mandatory deadline. That means that I need to get a completed, dated, and signed student information form by the deadline. You also need to send an email to me letting me know that you have sent your student information sheets to me and what method you used. If I do not have your student information sheet by the deadline, you will be dropped, and if you are dropped for this reason, you will not be reinstated into the course. So please take care of this. I'm going to refer you to these pages of the syllabus for the incomplete policy, for the course schedule for this semester by week, and also for the ACC academic policies and services. Please make sure to review the concealed handgun and campus carry policy at this page of the syllabus. All students are required to watch the mandatory campus carry policy video located at this website. Please make sure you do that during the first week of the semester. Since you are going to be taking your exams at one of the ACC testing centers, we're going to go over those policies pretty carefully. This is another area where a lot of students make mistakes. You will find the testing center policies on these pages of the syllabus, and be sure that you read and understand the policies before you go to the testing center. Make sure that you have all of the materials that you are going to need, which is going to include things like your ACC photo ID. I recommend that you look at the hours of operations for the different testing centers and then look at the mandatory exam deadlines. Choose the testing center that you intend to use that is going to be open during the hours that you plan on taking your exams. You can take your exam at any testing center, so you are not limited to going to just one testing center. You will need an ACC photo ID in order to use the testing center. If you do not have an ACC photo ID, go to Admissions and Records office at any campus and get one. Please keep in mind that the admission to the testing center is on the first-come, first-served basis. So if you wait until the very last minute to take an exam, which would be the day of the grace period, you may find that you cannot get into the testing center. You're not going to know when other classes have their deadlines, so sometimes there's a big wait at the testing center. Please keep in mind there is no extension on the grace periods for the unit exams. You're not going to get an extension just because you waited till the last minute and could not get into the testing center. Please don't do this to yourself. It is extremely painful. The testing centers have very strict rules about testing, and if you violate one of their policies, you can be banned from the testing center. The biggest problem for most students seems to be cell phones. There are signs posted all over the testing centers that you cannot take your cell phone into any testing center. And if you forget, even if you have it in your pocket and it's turned off and they find you with a cell phone, this is considered to be academic dishonesty, and you will be banned from using the testing center for the rest of the semester. And in a distance learning class, that's a real problem because that's the only way that you can take your exams. If you are banned from the testing center, your only options will be to either drop the class or take an F if it's past the drop deadline. So be sure that you either put your cell phone into a locker or leave it at home or leave it in your car when you go to take an exam. If there's a problem at the testing center that cannot be resolved by the testing center staff, then please email me as soon as you can. Do try to be polite to the testing center staff, but occasionally problems come up and they can be resolved. Just be sure you tell me what the problem was and which testing center was involved. If the computers are not working or Blackboard is down, you can try another testing center or go back later when the computers are working again. If you miss a deadline because of a technology glitch like this, please ask the testing center staff to send me an email and explain the problem and include your name. Or you can ask them to call me at my office, 223-0323, and leave a message. And as a backup, you should probably also send me an email or call and leave a message on the voicemail just in case. When you are taking an exam on Blackboard, it is important that you follow the instructions carefully. Otherwise, Blackboard will terminate the exam before you are finished, and if this happens, the testing center staff cannot help you. They cannot go back in. They have no way of going back in and letting you into that exam. The biggest problem with Blackboard exam issues comes about if you are in the exam and you try to open another window or another program such as Microsoft Word. Anytime that you try to click away from the exam page, Blackboard will shut your exam down, and at that point you may or may not have any of your answers saved. As you're going through the test and following those instructions, one of the questions that may pop up on the screen is a question that will ask you if the instructor has assigned a password for the exam. Be sure you click no. As you go through the exam, after you answer each question, you have the possibility of saving each answer. Now, you don't have to save the answers, but you can. It does take more time to save, but if the computer crashes during an exam, your saved answers can be retrieved. Otherwise, you'll lose all of your answers. Just be sure not to hit the Enter key or press the Submit button at the bottom of the exam until you've answered all the questions. As soon as you hit the Enter key or the Submit button, then that exam is going to be submitted for grading, and once you have submitted your exam, you cannot make changes to it, and that is going to be your grade at that point. Just remember that the syllabus is your reference for course policies and for ACC policies. If you have any questions about the course, please email me. I strongly encourage you to ask questions throughout the course because I want you to succeed this semester. So you have now completed the student orientation. Your next step is to complete the student information sheets, following all instructions, and then send it to me. And I hope you enjoy the course this semester.